How y'all doing today? I know it's been a little bit since I've made a newer video, but in this video I'm going to be talking about faith and how to increase your faith. When you think about faith, you think about you having a belief that God will come through, that you trust. It's a trust that you have for God, right? It's a trust that you have that God's timing, you trust in His work, you trust in who He is. And that is with your full heart, right? So another thing I want to mention is Romans chapter 10, verse 17, which says, if faith cometh by hearing. So faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So faith comes from hearing, right? So you got to hear the word, right? But once you hear it, you got to comprehend, right? So you got to learn, you got to take in, you got to listen. You got to want to desire to listen, to increase and improve your faith. Your faith will increase based on your desire, right? Based on your sacrifice to not, not to discard what God is trying to tell you. If God is trying to teach you something, then it is best for you to listen, right? Because your faith comes from hearing, right? Right? It's not only hearing with your ears. You have to hear with your mind. You have to hear with your soul. You have to hear with your eyes. And then, once you hear with your eyes and your ears and your soul and your heart, then your mouth and your body will follow. Right? Faith comes from doing the things that God tells you to do. But it's not only that, because faith without works is dead, right? So that means anything you want to do in this life, anything you want to, complete in this life, do, accomplish, you got to have a work ethic. You got to have the mentality to get after it. Faith without works is dead. Works won't get us into heaven, but works will guide your faith, right? Will guide that belief that you have in your goals and your dreams, so then you'll be able to attack those things, right? When we think about faith, Job had faith. David had faith. As a young shepherd boy, David had faith. Someone, as a young shepherd boy who no one believed in would defeat Goliath, he had faith in God. He had faith in God, and he had stones. He had stones that ultimately depicted was his physical weapon that he was going to use to take out Goliath. But it was his faith and his trust in God that took him over the top and allowed him to get to where he needed to go. He allowed him to be victorious, right? Sometimes God is going to guide you when you hear him, when you listen to him. David was strong in his faith. So therefore, he listened and his works followed. And I think a lot of us struggle, and I'll say something I struggle too with, is that our faith is an up and down battle. But a lot of times our faith, it wavers off sometimes when we don't put the work in, right? If you want to improve your relationship with God, you have to put in the work. The Bible already told you faith without works is dead. But without faith, it is impossible to please Him, right? So if your faith is weak, how are you supposed to please God? Right? Without faith, how are you supposed to get to that next level with God? How are you going to take that relationship? How are you going to take that next step with God? How are you going to get there? How you truly get there is by desiring Him and doing the Lord's work and having a heart and a soul for God. But ultimately, you have to learn to trust Him. I know, it sounds cliche and it sounds like oversaid, but I'm telling y'all, bro. I'm the first experience not trusting God and feeling like you have to trust yourself when you don't know better than what God knows for you and what God has for you. you don't know better. You think you know yourself better. Yeah, you may know yourself better than other people, but you don't know yourself better than God. So half the time, you don't even know why you think the way you do. You don't even know why you act the way you act. You don't know why you say the things you say. You don't know your true self. But God knows your true self because he knows you're beginning and you're in. So, if you didn't learn anything else from this video, man, you gotta trust God. You have to trust God. You have to. You have to, bro. You cannot lean on your own understanding. Do not lean on your understanding. Lean on God for wisdom. I'm telling you, bro. I'm never gonna stop preaching that, bro. Never. Neither should you. But I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching. God bless.